Hello everyone, welcome to Eternal Brews. My name is Pojo, and today we're going to be looking at a fun little deck that I brewed up in order to utilize the new card Alpine Tracker. This one's more of a silly brew. It's a little bit ladder competitive, but not particularly ladder competitive. I think it's good enough, and has certainly done some fun stuff for me in high gold and low diamond. So yeah, I've enjoyed it and wanted to share it because it's just a really fun design, and I'm really enjoying it, and I want to see if people can tweak it and do cool things with it. So here's the deck. It is Hearty, and the idea behind this is to utilize, of course, a bunch of silly Skycrag synergies. We are using Alpine Tracker as a pseudo-removal spell, and one of the things that we are doing with this deck is we are going fairly spell-less, which is to say that we have only 6 spells in the deck, and all of them cost 6 or more, which is exactly the ideal circumstance for Jarrall Iceheart, the 6/7 infiltrate, draw the top spell of your deck, and deal damage to each enemy unit equal to that spell's cost. Now, the idea behind this deck is we are trying to sneak across damage with Jarrall, and in doing so, we are going to deal a tremendous amount of damage to the opponent's board and just blow his entire board up, as well as getting a really, really big, scary spell that is generally one of those big old game swingers. This is one of those decks that does really well in the current, very slow meta that's going on in Eternal. Like, I think that at the moment, Eternal does not have a lot of particularly aggressive decks, except mostly in the top Master section where people are like really trying to grind hard with Stone Scar. You see a lot of silly stuff right now, so it's a good time to play silly stuff of your own and sort of take advantage of that slower meta and have a little bit of fun. So yeah. The basic ideas behind this deck. Let's first off talk about one of the big cards that I felt like really sort of changed the deck for the better for me, which is Ageless Mentor. The 3-cost 2/3 that all units in your hand get with cost 4 or more get +2/+2 on summon is very, very good for buffing a large variety of units that we really like to play and that also are really good in this particular deck. First off, there's our straight up combo pieces, which are Westwind Herald to play big spells from the void for free. Jarrall Iceheart, who of course infiltrates for that spell damage cost. Calderan Gunsmith, who we use to sneak across the infiltrates of both Westwind Herald and Jarrall Iceheart. And also to sneak across damage from Scouting Party, which is one of our high-end spells that allows us to draw a bunch of cards and clear the board really, really quickly. In addition, we also run Jotun Hurler as a card that is not a spell, but nonetheless draws a spell that is removal. This is a really good way to shut down early aggressive decks and make sure that you have enough removal in your deck to actually deal with turn 1 Oni Ronin, turn 1 Pyro Knight, or any of the sort of like really aggressive stuff. In addition, it also provides snowballs, which are bonuses when you are playing cards with Alpine Tracker, the 3/3 that when you summon deals 1 damage to each other unit and each player. I've been pretty impressed with Alpine Tracker. I think that he's a better card than the Argenport card that was released in this promo set, and he actually has a couple of really good advantages. The main things that I've noticed he's being very good at is he's a unit that you can play down that kills Auric Runehammer, which is really relevant in armory matchups in particular. He's also a unit that you can play down to kill Staff of Stories by surprise when your opponent plays Staff of Stories on 5, and I think that both of those things are particularly good. In addition, he pushes that 1 extra damage, which is really, really nice, and he's generally like the charge plus the summon means that he deals 4 damage for 4, and that's actually not a bad burn spell. Alpine Tracker is pretty flexible. He doesn't work very well with token strategies, so he's going to have some anti-synergy with your scouting parties and your amber acolytes, but for the most part I found that you can usually play him down at an appropriate time and get some sort of value out of him. Most of the time that value is just a little bit of damage, which is pretty nice, I think, for most of your decks. Finally, Nesting Avisaur. I don't usually use Nesting Avisaur as a cost reduction ability, but because we are running a lot of spells and units that specifically either completely wipe our opponent's side of the board or draw us up to 3 or 4 cards, Nesting Avisaur is actually really, really good for getting those units, those spells and cards down on 5. In addition, it's a 3/3 in the air that can be a 5/5 with Ageless Mentor, and I just find that the cost reduction combined with the fact that it is just a big flyer that can block those Haunting Scream decks and be sort of like your answer in the air really, really helps out here. Because we are going spell-less, we are looking for some particular things to solve problems that we would otherwise do with spells, like Nesting Avisaur is taking the place of Lightning Strike for dealing with the Haunting Scream deck, and it's generally doing a pretty good job of it. Our removal package is pretty simple. We run Charchain Flail as a relic weapon to get rid of cheap units and get rid of big units later in the game. Charchain Flail incurs some health disadvantage, of course, but it is a very flexible removal card that will get rid of pretty much anything, especially cards with Aegis, which is really nice in a lot of the current meta decks. Permafrost stuns the cursed units for as long as it is cursed. This card is just mad good for getting rid of all sorts of things. You have to use it on cards that it doesn't work on Sandstorm Titan, which I think is probably one of the biggest weaknesses of the deck. But yeah, having it being able to be used on a lot of different units can be very, very effective. It's one of those cards that actually locks down certain cards even better, specifically cards that you want to, like Haunting Scream, cards that you want to do like particular things with. Permafrost can really lock those problems down. Knowing which cards to Permafrost and which not to is a big part of the skill of this deck, but I think that in general this is one of your more appropriate and quick removal spells. And I think that's about it. We run 2 Channel the Tempest at the top. Hitting a Channel the Tempest off Jotun Hurler is, in fact, a 1 in 3 chance. You'll either do 6 damage or you'll do 8. And if you do 8 to your opponent's board, that is your opponent's entire board. There's not really going to be all that much left. The deck's primary kill conditions are Jarrall, Iceheart, Scouting Party, and Calderan Gunsmith. Gunsmith in particular is just extremely good at pushing a tremendous amount of damage. It will often hit for 8 or 9 at a time, and then Scouting Party will just overwhelm and just wipe your opponent out. It's really, really delightful in that respect. But you can push with all of these units. Everything here is focused on dealing a little bit of damage and an incremental amount of damage. And since these are all units that really have to be dealt with, you can get a lot done with them. So yeah, that's the basic deck idea. We'll go into a couple of games, and then we'll go into postmortem. See you guys soon. Opening hand, we're looking at 3 power in mostly colors that I want. Not a ton of playables here, but I think I might keep it. Double blue gets us close to Jarrall, red gets us close to Charchain Flail, and that's 3 colors that I do need. So I think this is probably reasonable. Charchain Flail is a rough card to be playing in this setup. Like, it is one of the weaker bits of removal I have just because of the high influence requirements. But I've got these Permafrosts here, so I'm not feeling particularly unhappy about it. And it can be like a very good late game card, so I'm not too worried if it doesn't become a very good early game card. Alright, we're setting up a nice slow game. Sandstorm Titan is the big deal here. If he has it, then I'm in trouble because I don't have great answers to Sandstorm Titan in the deck. Seed of Wisdom happens, and are we going to see the Sandstorm Titan?
Safe travels, friend.
Today it is an Emerald Acolyte, or an Amber Acolyte, which, less scary card than some of the other options. Oh no, I did it wrong. I should have played the Time Sigil there so I could have played Nesting Avisaur. I can Permafrost this if I want to. I think I'm going to leave it alone, though. Yeah, Time, Nesting Avisaur, and put Iceheart on the top is actually a really good idea. You usually want to make Iceheart cheaper if you can. Okay, so now I can make Scouting Party cheaper, which I love. Gonna go ahead and Permafrost there. And Iceheart is also a really good cheap card, but he can be silenced a little easier, so I'm probably not gonna go for that.
Safe travels, friend.
What gave it away?
Scouting Party here. Permafrost the 6/6 to keep that out of our hair. Although snowballs are the best answer, of course. Depending on what he plays, we might just go for an attack here, or he might go for Iceheart. Permafrost implies that he really doesn't have great answers here. I'm gonna go ahead and put Iceheart down.
Your fight is not
We'll risk a harsh rule, but I think we'll be okay. I just want to see him play more stuff out onto this board as opposed to blowing it up. I don't know. I'm risking harsh rule pretty bad at this point. Okay, he does have Desert Marshal. That's unfortunate. Ageless Mentor's cute, but not necessary. We'll just Gunsmith. Seed of Fury sets up more stuff. Could attack for 6 here. Seems reasonable. It's a lot of damage to be pushing. If he wants to attack me, I probably just Gunsmith. Gunsmith again is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage, plus the 6 I'm pushing, plus the 3 in the air. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think we'd probably go for that. I could Ageless Mentor first. Oh, Ageless Mentor Skycrag, actually, yeah.
Time to reflect.
With this, you can't miss.
So burn his face off and swing for 3. I think this is lethal in almost any way that you swing it. Good stuff. We risked the harsh roll, but got some pretty good advantage out of it. Alright, opening up, we have an Amber Acolyte, which is a card we really need, and Seat Primal. I have a higher chance of drawing power in this deck because we actually keep a larger amount of power than normal. Since we're not running Seek Power, we run close to 29, I believe, and that just lets us set up a little bit better. The primary reason to not run Seek Power, of course, is so that we don't hit it with Jarrall Iceheart. But as a result, we sacrifice a little bit in terms of just overall clarity. Now, I do have a good answer to tokens in the form of Alpine Tracker. I have to hit the necessary power requirements for it, which is to say that I have to get some red. And I can get some red off of Amber Acolyte, so we should be playing this around like turn 5, assuming that I can pick up the other red somewhere. Okay, got the Seat of Fury. Not my favorite card in the world here, but we will get Amber Acolyte, and then we will get Alpine Tracker, so that'll help out. The Obelisk does happen. That's unfortunate. Okay, so Amber Acolyte sets
Safe
up.
travels, friend.
From here I can Permafrost something if I need to. Possible that that's actually a worthwhile goal. Like if I Permafrost this Grenadin Drone. That prevents some scary rallies, some bigger stuff from happening. Arcana Monitor is the other big target here, but I don't know, I just don't think I'm going to run into it. So, we stymied the aggro a little bit. We had to play a little inefficiently because of the tokens, but Ageless Mentor happens. And then we get Alpine Tracker and Calderan Gunsmith, which are both excellent cards to be playing at this point. Pretty happy to block here. Don't see any reason why not. Could be like a unlock potential, something like that. If I can get 6, I want to play Scouting Party because I have Gunsmith available. And if I don't get 6, I probably play Alpine Tracker because it's a pretty good rush card. In addition, I can do things like draw Jotun Hurler here, Alpine Tracker, and set up that way. Alright, let's go.
It ends here.
So we swing for 5, and we'll see if there's a block. No block, no Scorpion Wasp. That's good. Scouting Party sets up well here. And Alpine Tracker is a good damage pusher. You push 6 damage onto Gumby Man in 1 turn. That's a lot of surprise damage. So from here, let's see what Gumby's doing.
It's written right here.
Temple Scribe gets him a little extra health, and
It's written right here.
now he has enough stuff to make a rally scary, but because we have Scouting Party, I'm probably okay with that. Let's see if we can get a block. I'd rather see him block here than try to attack. And that's a good lineup. We get the Initiate. And he's focused more on his late game, which is really, really good for me. I can probably afford to Scouting Party again. That's normally very greedy, but this deck basically just needs to get a pretty big setup to go all out on us. Okay, so now Amber Acolyte Gunsmith seems like a better play. That'll hit us for 6 damage. It'll get us a bunch of card draw. And yeah, I think that overall just gives us a little bit better of a shot.
Safe travels, friend.
You can run Xenan Obelisk in this deck. I think it's not a bad idea at all. Let's go ahead and play the Gunsmith. Mostly just lacking for space. Alright, nesting Avisaur makes things cheaper. Scouting Party and Gunsmith together are very good. I think I'm just good to go here. I've got enough blockers to really deal with the tokens at the moment. Could always get Cloud of Ash or something like that. Okay, there is the monitor, so we do have a monitor on the board. That's something we gotta get worried about, but Scouting Party first. I don't think I want to kill any of these guys, so we're just gonna stay put and wait for the Gunsmith to start off our next turn. Monitor number 2 makes these guys pretty big threats. He's probably gonna want to go all in on us. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 could be like a rally or something here. I think I'm gonna block this. And it's not super profitable to block with these guys. I think I'll block with 1 extra in case of like... No, there's no unlock potential at 1. There could be a torch. If there's a torch, then the best he can do is get 2 off, so we'll block with 2 of these guys. And that way he can't torch and save his 9/9. Gumby deciding whether to take out the Yetis or the Ageless Mentor. And he gets basically everything else as well. So now I've got 7 guys on the board. Ooh, Iceheart. Iceheart really saves me here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and play Iceheart.
Your fight is not ours.
And nesting Avisaur we don't really need to play out, but it's nice to have extra blockers just in case. I don't think I'm in a particular rush, so let's just go ahead and set that up. Now the attacks look pretty bad. That 7/7 is a pretty scary target. If we'd save the Permafrost Forest, we'd be better off, but... Okay, so I need to actually draw a power here. Let's go ahead and block 3 damage. Just get ourselves a little bit further from death. That seems reasonable. I can Charchain Flail here. It's not terrible. If I do that, I get the Arcana Monitor, but I take a bunch of damage. I'm not super psyched about that idea. Let's go ahead and play Iceheart.
Your fight is not ours.
And Charchain Flail I can use to get rid of this Praxis Displacer for the moment. That's not great. From here, we've got kind of an issue with this 7/7.
Step back.
Yeah, that's maybe too much damage. We have... Oh, okay, we're gonna be fine. Four blocked plus a rally is 10. So that's 6 that he can deal to me. That's good enough. We do have Iceheart Gunsmith, so we're fine with this whole setup. Just keeping ourselves alive against Rally. And now I do have Iceheart Gunsmith, which is the combo I need. I might not kill the monitor, but I'll kill everything else.
You can't miss.
Alright, let's see what happens. No torch, that's good. Second Gunsmith's pretty fun. Avisaur's good draws, and then we get either a Scouting Party or a Channel.
It is done.
Skycrag Banner sets up. And next turn we can Scouting Party Gunsmith for the win. What else have you got, Gumby?
Time quickens.
Go ahead and block there. You want to overdo it? Nah, we're probably good. Maybe I should have overdone it. This is an extra 1 damage. But we're good, because Scouting Party Gunsmith wins the game. And got him! Lots of good answers to tokens there. That was a very entertaining game. Alright, here's looking at another one. We got Skycrag Banner, Nesting Avisaur, Jotun Hurler, Jarrall, Iceheart. Let's redraw here. Seat, Primal. Ageless Mentor is nice, but we do need time here. I'm considering putting in some more like banners or a little bit more time. Like, we're currently pretty heavy on the blue, so we might change the deck's power around before we present it. Go ahead and set the Seat of Fury up. Skycrag Banner looks pretty good, just need to get a time now, and then we can have a pretty good setup. Channel the Tempest, of course, very strong card. Permafrost looks lovely. Let's get that Ageless Mentor down.
Be redeemed.
Alright, found a fire. Permafrost seems good on this before it gets too big. We could wait for it to have a weapon, but that weapon might be Hammer of Might, and that's a 6 health swing plus 3 war cries. I don't feel particularly good about that. This looks like an Argenport lifesteal deck, something along the lines of mono green lifesteal with Paladin Oathbreaker. Deck's relatively untested, so we might have an easier time than usual, but I think we're going to be largely deciding based on what we see here. Jotun Hurler, another wonderful target for Ageless Mentor, but still don't actually have the Ageless Mentor, so gonna have to see what we can do. That's a very unusual Blackguard sidearm. That makes me suspect that he might have like a Paladin Oathbook here. I could play a Jotun Hurler down.
Don't make me angry.
Or not a Paladin Oathbook, a Stalwart Shield is what I'm talking about. So if he has the Endurance, then he can actually get this thing out of the dumps. But there's no attachment destruction in green or purple, so it pretty much has to be Stalwart Shield. Charchain Flail kills that, but it's probably not worth it. Let's go... Yeah, I think we'll go for another Jotun Hurler or the Westwind Herald. Westwind Herald's not super important to play early, but you can get some value out of it. Primarily, you want to play it after Scouting Party. So what's Burno up to? He probably has Oathbreaker at some point. Okay, the Valkyrie Enforcer equip was pretty silly, because he doesn't have Quick Draw, so...
A single shot is all it takes.
Instigator's fine. There's our Seat of Impulse, which is definitely something we wanted. I think I'm going to play Ageless Mentor,
To reflect.
and then Permafrost the Valkyrie Enforcer. And we'll leave the Charchain Flail for next turn, or for later in general. Inspire setting up weapons. Argenport Instigator might very well get weapons. We don't see any right now, so that's totally fine. I do have to worry about Charchain Flail here. Argenport Instigator sets up kind of an unfortunate circumstance where Death Strike would be a bad thing, but it looks like we're going to come out of this just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and attack for 2. We're going to see if we can get the Puma. If we can't get the Puma, that's fine. We'll just Charchain Flail and hit the Puma or the Instigator, either one. I think I want to outvalue my opponent, so let's get the Instigator first. Because the risk with getting the Puma first is that we lose the Charchain Flail to a random Death Strike or Suffocate or Annihilate specifically. 3 damage there is fine. We do have the Westwind Herald available. That is a very, very big flyer. And next turn I want to set down Westwind Herald. I'm a little worried about more Roland's Honor Guards. That's a pretty bad card to be saying. Go ahead and take this. You've got a lot of life gain, but okay.
The west wind is warm with renewal.
Westwind Herald definitely does the trick. If he wants to attack with like a rapid shot or something, then I do not block. Or rather, I block with Ageless Mentor.
A single shot is all it takes.
Ageless Mentor is still a very scary card. We're on Snowball number 3 now, so that's pretty grand. I think I'm going to go Nesting Avisaur. Make the channel cheaper because we do need it, and then we're going to Snowball, Snowball, Snowball. And despite Channel being a very good card here, despite the available attack with Western Herald, we're going to hold back, both because we need a potential blocker and also because Channel the Tempest is coming up next turn. We do not want to get back a Snowball. So we got to be a little bit careful about that. Seek Power, sets up. Primal Sigil, that's fine. Okay, so we Channel here.
Unleash the storm.
And we swing with everything. And channel the face.
Unleash the storm.
That gets us some snowballs, it gets us some Jotun Hurlers. We got a lot of meat on the ground now, and we're well ahead in card advantage. There's still the potential for a bomb to blow us out. I was actually considering silencing Channel the Tempest for exactly that reason. But it looks like we're going to be okay. Let's go ahead and play a Hurler. Swing for 2. We're going to play another Avisaur as well. Yeah, we have a pretty decent setup here. We're playing a little bit carefully. Just making sure that we don't get surprised by any of the cards we already know are in his deck. More Valkyrie Enforcers, the quick draw weapon, Blackguard Sidearm. I think overall this should be fine. Swing with one of these and both of these. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I suppose I could attack with everything, and if he doesn't block, then it's lethal. Yeah, attacking with everything would not have been terrible. We'll Snowball here.
Don't make me angry.
Play the other Hurler. We're not looking at any second sights here, so life's grand on that front. Roland's Honor Guard is his big saving card here. Looks like we got ahead of it. So, good show. Alright, opening up against Orionios, and this hand can't really be played, but looks pretty nice otherwise. Charchain, Flail, Jotun Hurler seems pretty solid. Let's go ahead and say Fortune Smile, and set up a seat. Skycrag Banner is probably actually the card that I should have played first, but you know. Yeah, there actually was no reason not to play Skycrag Banner first. Okay, so we have an early aggro deck. Snowballs help out tremendously against this type of deck. They're very effective. And then if we can get some red here, then we'll be in a better shape.
Who says you can't play with fire?
Caleb's Favor hitting us a little bit hard. We'll go ahead and play down a blue. Aegis Mentor helps stabilize the board a little bit for us and get us a big old Jotun Hurler. Gonna probably see Champion here. So Suffocate instead, which I think is totally acceptable. Aegis Mentor number 2 feels a little bit unfortunate, but I suppose I can't say no to an 8/8 Jotun Hurler. 8 a Torch, and an 8/8 is actually above Obliterate range, so I actually do like this a lot. Fire Sigil plus Vara's Favor.
Touch of shadow.
Looks like a lot of burn in my opponent's hand. Found a Permafrost, but didn't find the power we're looking for. Shadow Sigil plus Soulfire Drake. Certainly an easy 5 damage for him, and there could be more of them. So let's go ahead and Permafrost that. And we're going to Scouting Party or Jotun Hurler next turn. Jotun Hurler it is. Tough card to deal with. Might force out like a Flame Blast. That would be really grand. I'm liking this Permafrost a lot too.
Wield the flame! Burn!
Okay, Pyro Knight comes in. That seems pretty good. Go ahead and swing for 8. I'm gonna Permafrost here, and I am gonna play down Ageless Mentor because we don't want to lose to the transmute power. Seems unlikely that it's in his deck, but we got to plan for it anyways. Orionos can push for a lot of damage here, but I can push for more, and I think I should.
Safe travels, friend.
We're going to attack and see if there's a fast spell. No pause that I can see, so Charchain Flail should be fine. That puts him at 9, which means he's going to have to be pretty defensive from here on out. Scouting Party helps me out, and I think we have all the answers we need.
Now, fire!
Oh, Obliterate is actually a really good card for him there. He still can't quite take it, but he's gotten pretty close. Like, if he has a Torch and Flame Blast, he has lethal. But he can't get it with Flame Blast or Obliterate, which are the 2 cards that I have to be most worried about.
Now, fire!
Obliterate, no Torch, pretty please. I'm seeing a pause. Am I getting slow rolled? It's possible. How many torches has he got in his void at the moment? Just 1? Oh, Flame Blast for 2. Poor guy. Alright. Just barely secured it. And that's our games. Here's a version of the deck that is a little bit less cheaty. We actually run 4 Seek power, as you're supposed to do. The previous deck, of course, runs 29 power instead of 4 Seeks, which means that it's a little bit less reliable at basically getting the power that you need and the influence that you need. This version is running 4 Seeks plus 4 Temple Scribes to sort of set up an early game, and then we're utilizing the advantage engine of Xenan Obelisk to make sure that we have just basically like a really, really big scouting party advantage, and we can just overwhelm with a lot of our smaller units like Temple Scribe, Acolyte, and Ageless Mentor. It's sort of the Shimmer Pack plan, and indeed you can run Shimmer Pack in this deck if you so feel the need. We're running one less channel the Tempest, and Scouting Party, of course, is, and Jarrall Iceheart is unfortunately at an all-time low just because he doesn't fit quite as well if you're running the Seek powers, and I think that overall you want to focus your energies on playing out some more token-based strategies and just using the Gunsmith Obelisk to push a lot of damage. So if you want a deck that's just a little bit less on the silly end, but still very competitive and still capable of pulling off that Iceheart flair, then here's a version that I think you might like. Yeah, so this deck's pretty fun. Like I said, it is more for the fun side than the competitive side, but you might actually see some success with this if you give it a try. So hope you guys have fun with it, and I will see you soon for more Eternal Brews. We're going to be recording a bunch of them for this week, so see you guys then. Bye.